So, hello class. Actually, the topic what we started studying that was the reactivity of oxygen family towards halogens. As you know, there are many of the halides present of the sulfur, selenium, and tellurium in the nature. Oxygen has very rare halides, so we are having, according to the oxidation number, you can see the hexafluorides, hexahalides, tetrahalides, dihalides, and some of the monohalides which actually exist in the form of dimers. You can see here E stand here element and E2X2 means the dimerization, the dimer form of the monohalides EX. So some of the halides which actually present as a dimer, the monohalide presented as the dimer, and that is the only reaction important in this section. Only reaction important in this section. So you can see E2X2, some of the reactions given like dimer of sulfur, selenium, dimer of sulfur and especially selenium. So you have to learn CRT page number 189 on the first line of the page number, which actually represent the So let us start from the topic. What we have to be studying there? We have to be studying in the topic of halides, that is the reactivity order, means stability of the different halides and their geometries. Geometries and the reactivity or stability of the different halides. You have to be noticed here, and whenever you are study for the different compounds, the stability always depends upon, and many times I actually explained in the class, the stability always depends upon the extent of bonding, extent of overlapping, the tendency of hybridization. All these are the terms that actually make a stable bond for any compound. So whenever we are going for the different halides, you have to be learn that the fluorides must be charge stable because of having a greater tendency to be overlap with the elements, because of greater tendency to be hybridized the different orbitals of the central element. So because of these two reasons at least, there is always a more stability of fluorides than fluorides, bromide and iodides. And this is the reason why iodides are rarer, why iodides are very less stable at a room temperature of different elements. So in the same sequence, suppose we are studying for the hexafluorides, we are having a different hexafluorides like hexafluorides of sulfur, hexafluorides of selenium, tellurium. So first we are actually dealing with the hexafluorides. So students, you have to be learn here the fluorine, the fluoride ion having greater tendency to be overlap with sulfur than selenium and tellurium. And this is the reason why SF6 is more stable than the other fluorides of the same group. So stability must be dealing with the two different concepts. The first, the size of the central element and the size of the element which is surrounded the central element. So whenever we are dealing with the stability, always stability decreases down the group because of increase of size, because of less availability of the electronic density, because of low extent of overlapping, because of a low tendency of hybridization, So you can easily compare that SF6 will be a more stable than the other member of the group. Same way, stability must be, according to the halogens, stability must be decided by chlorides, chlorides, bromides, and iodides. Chlorides will be more stable than the chlorides, bromides, and iodides. And in the same sequence, sulfur halides will be more stable than a selenium halides, than a tellurium halides. This is important to note here. Other thing, when we're moving down the group, as we know, the lower oxidation number is a more stable than a higher one. So you can compare that tetrahalides, dihalides might be a more stable than hexahalides down the group. Moving down the group, dihalides, tetrahalides should be more stable than hexahalides in the case of tellurium, polonium, and selenium. But in the case of sulfur, hexa and tetra, both the halides will be more stable. Moving towards the geometry, geometry always depends upon the number of orbitals involved in the hybridization. Number of orbitals involved in the hybridization. So it should be count the number of orbitals involved in the hybridization, or in the case in the hexahalides there are total 6 orbitals involved. So geometry should be octahedral. Octahedral. Geometry should be a octahedral in the case of hexahalides because of the 6 hybridized orbitals present. In the case of tetrahalides, you can see there is one lone pair present. In the case of tetrahalides, there is one lone pair present, and because of that lone pair, total 5 orbitals involved in the hybridization. 5 orbitals. So whenever there are 5 orbitals involved, the arrangement of the geometry should be trigonal bipyramidal. But the shape or geometry will depend upon only a bond pair vector. So we have to be count the bond pair here. Bond pair are 4. So look at geometry. Look at the geometry. So whenever there are 4 bond pair and 1 lone pair must be placed at the higher angle called 120-degree angle. So the geometry shape will be a seesaw shape. The geometry shape will be seesaw. So all tetrahalides having a geometry seesaw, and all hexahalides will be octahedral. Same way, if we are dealing with the dihalides, actually you can see the dihalides, there is a 2 different lone pairs present at the central atom. So because of 2 lone pair, the structure should be like water. Arrangement will be a tetrahedral, but structure name will be called bent structure. Structure name will be called bent structure. Structure name will be called bent structure. This is just like a structure of water. So all dihalides are the similar structure like a water. Bond angle will be different, but the structure and geometry will be similar like a water. This is about the geometry of the different halides. Monohalides always will be linear, no matter to describe here what will be the geometry. So you should be learn the geometry of the different halides, the stability of the different halides, and try to learn the concept of the stability. As I said, stability always depends upon the extent of overlapping, tendency of hybridization. So try to learn it. The smaller size, the concept is smaller size of element and greater electronegativity of the element having more tendency to be hybridized the orbitals of central element. Whenever we are dealing with the stability, then the compounds, always the surrounding elements should have a smaller size and greater electronegativity for a stable bond formation. And with the central element, if the element having a smaller size, so extent of overlapping will be greater. As soon the size increases down the group, the extent of overlapping will decreases. That will decrease the bond energy. That will decrease the bond energy. So bond can easily be break down by supplying of energy from outside. This is the only concept to learn the stability of the compounds. So whenever we dealing with the stability, that will be a central concept of all different types of compounds we have. So you have to be discussed with the, you have to be learned with the concepts. Other things you can go through your NCERT books. One more thing, monohalides are actually not very easily formed, not very easily found in the nature. They are some part rarer because of very much lone pair density. Because of lone pair electrons are much more. In the case of monomer, you can see if element here, if element from monomer, if element from monomer, the oxidation number will be a +1. The oxidation number will be a +1. And in the case of +1 oxidation number, there will be at least more than 2 lone pair present. More than 2 lone pair present. So because of the extra electronic density of lone pair, repulsion will be greater. So the monomers or dimers actually not very stable. And this is the reason why the monohalides easily form dimer to be exist in the nature, but not stable actually, but not stable. So E2X2, the monohalides are the different element like sulfur and selenium will not be a very stable as compared to di and tetrahalides. Other what you have to be study, there is given something like a state, like some of the halides are gaseous state, some are the liquid, some are the solid. State always depend upon the actually van der Waals force. State of the molecule depend upon the van der Waals force. If you can assume that where will be a greater van der Waals force, there should be a state in a solid or liquid. There is given fluorides are generally, hexafluorides are generally gaseous in state, and as we moving down the group, hexafluorides, fluorides, bromides, and iodides, the state rapidly change from gaseous to liquid, then solid. Because of greater size, bromine and iodine having greater tendency to form a van der Waals force than a fluorine or chlorine. And this is the reason, actually you have to learn, with the increase of molecular mass or with the increase of atomic mass, van der Waals force increases, that will actually change the state from gaseous to liquid as well as in solid. This is the only reason. So just make your concept clear. Where should be a greater van der Waals force, that will be a state in a solid. Now we can study about the sum of the question given in the NCERT. Example number 7.4, that is given here. List the important sources of sulfur. You should be go through the NCERT book. Write the order of thermal stability of hydrides of group 16 elements. We studied in the last class. Thermal stability depends upon the bond energy. Moving down the group, bond energy decreases. So thermal energy or thermal stability also decreases. Why water is a liquid and H2 is a gas? Again, this discussed in the last lecture. Water is a liquid because of the greater extent of hydrogen bonding, that is called intra-hydrogen bonding. Sorry, inter-hydrogen bonding. H2S is less stick than H2TE because of the again same reason, bond energy. In H2TE, the bond energy is lower, so H plus will be easily formed. Now we can learn the next preparation of oxygen. Oxygen gas. Oxygen gas. So this is all about the general properties of the group 16. We can now start the oxygen and other members of the group like simple oxides. So let's discuss about some doubt regarding the topic back bonding. Back bonding. Look at the topic. It's a very interesting topic. Actually, we have one universal rule in our chemistry. In our chemistry, there is one universal rule. If the molecule or compound is stable, but is still present a lone pair or as vacant orbital, so having tendency to make a bond with any other molecule or with itself. Always because of the stability, it is not defined that it cannot be make a further bonding or further circulation of the electronic density. Suppose in any molecule there is vacant orbital and the surrounding element having some lone pair. So lone pair must be attracted towards the vacant place, that orbital, to make an extra further bonding. There is circulation. When we call a resonance, the resonance is a circulation of a pi electron cloud. First mention it. Resonance is a circulation of pi electron cloud over the structure. But back bonding is similar to the resonance, but not the resonance. Similar to the resonance, there is still some circulation of a lone pair electron in the terms of pi electron. But what should be the condition? Look at the condition first. Actually, I am having a molecule like BF3. I am having a molecule like a BF3. In BF3, there is one vacant orbital present with the boron. The central element having a one vacant orbital. And because of this orbital, the boron having capability to show the Lewis acid character. The Lewis acid means the molecule or a compound having tendency to accept a pair of electrons from any other molecule, that learn. That is the point. Whenever molecule having tendency to accept a lone pair electron from any other molecule, that is called a Lewis acid character. BF3 because of the presence of lone pair having that same tendency to accept a lone pair from any outside. But the problem is BF3 is not actually observed as earlier they said, as we calculated, as we actually expected. The expectation is BF3 should be a Lewis acid, but BF3 is actually a very weak Lewis acid because of the very low tendency to accept a lone pair electron. And why this is? This is because the BF3 and chlorine, sorry, in BF3 boron and chlorine, they belong to the same period element. They belong to the same period element. The size is not very different. The size is actually just almost similar. Because of the not very actually comparable size, boron, the lone pair of boron and sorry, vacant orbital of boron and lone pair of boron, there is a further extended bonding between the boron and chlorine. The extra extended bonding of boron and chlorine and boron. And this is because the boron having a lone pair and chlorine boron having a vacant orbital and chlorine having a lone pair. So whenever there is a possibility of vacancy and lone pair, there must be attraction between the electronic density and vacant orbitals that make a extra extending bonding between two different elements. That actually indicate that double bond character between boron and chlorine. This is not a regular pi bond. This is not a regular pi bond, but this is a pi bond character. And this tendency can be multiplied because of the 3 chlorine present along with boron. This type of bonding is called a back bonding. And this tendency is present because of chlorine and boron having almost a similar size, comparable size with a lone pair and with a vacant orbital. So the same possibility can be repeated with the boron with the second chlorine, boron with the third chlorine. So there is 3 possibilities at least. There is 3 possibilities at least to form a back bonding with chlorine and boron. So when back bonding formation between these orbitals, the orbitals are filled. So orbitals getting filled and not available for accept a lone pair, not the possibility again. Suppose we have a BCl3 and we have to be compare which one will be a more stronger Lewis acid. So we have to be tell BCl3. The expected answer is BF3. Expected answer is BF3 because of this smaller size of boron and presence of lone vacant orbital. BF3 must be a stronger Lewis acid than BCl3. Expected answer. But because of the back bonding tendency that will be greater in the BF3 than BCl3, BCl3 will be a stronger Lewis acid. So you should be learn here, the back bonding character increases, the Lewis character decreases. The Lewis acidic character decreases as back bonding character increases. And back bonding character depend upon the comparable size. If the elements having comparable size must be having a greater tendency to make a back bonding. And this is the reason why BCl3 having a lower tendency, because chlorine belongs to third period, boron second period. So they have a dissimilar size, not very comparable. So you should be learning this. And one more thing, for example, we have a AlCl3. I think you noticed in the many other reactions, when we are practically using Lewis acid, we actually taking AlCl3. Anhydrous AlCl3 actually practically used for a Lewis acid, because AlCl3 having a very greater tendency to accept unknown pair from any other molecule. This is why we are not using BF3, BCl3, but we are using AlCl as a Lewis acid in a different equations or reactions.